That's a little bit of a No Woman, No Cry, kind of a different version of that. I don't know if we have anybody watching now, but this is going to be a live episode of podcast number 30. No, we're not doing it?
We're good. The connection is weak.
Oh.
Just keep
going. We can edit that out. That's fine. I kind of like
Change the network.
Change the Wi-Fi. Are you on Wi-Fi or are you on
I was on Wi-Fi. I turned it off.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
All right, we're good. Should I play us in again or whatever? It'd be kind of cool. I like
Play
this.
it in.
For everybody, I'll just do the extended version of it. What do you think about that, Ralph?
Beautiful.
Episode 30. This is a big one. Episode 30. So we're gonna do something a little bit different this time. We're actually gonna take a few questions from you, live ones. So if you're there and you want to ask a question, go ahead. We're gonna try and do it. We're gonna keep it tight though. It's gonna be about a 7 to 10 minute podcast, as we've been doing different podcasts between the Christopher Landers one, which was an hour-long segment that was phenomenal, as he was talking about how he was able to do some free diving and save his friend's life underwater. That was phenomenal. I love that. It was one of my favorite ones. And then next week on the podcast, we're actually going to have Dr. Carmen Kolitz. Carmen was actually a vet for Lucy's Brew fame. Lucy had something wrong with her eye, and Dr. Carmen is a vet that specializes in eye health, and she actually hangs out with seals in Hawaii and other marine wildlife, fixes dolphins' eyes and everything. So we're going to have some really cool stuff next week with Dr. Carmen. She's one of the most fabulous people in this entire world. So let's actually get to a few of these questions that we actually had earlier. Just get right into it rather than just having me talk about stuff.
Cool.
So Stephen, first question.
First question is from Ashley.
Ashley.
She asks, who inspires you most and why?
That's a good question, because a lot of people ask that, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts, you read books, and people talk about who inspires them, whether it's from an entrepreneur level, whether it's from a health level, etc. I don't like to say the typical Steve Jobs or Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett doesn't have the greatest relationship with his kids, I believe. Steve Jobs was kind of not a nice guy, so it's those types of people don't inspire me. It's more of like my family. I have a lot of family around that lives, we're here in our new office too, by the way, and my family who lives probably within a couple miles radius of us. And I just looked to them for inspiration, but really the biggest person that inspired me was my sister, my older sister. I don't know if you've met her. I know, I'm talking to you too. And she, her name is Lindsay, my oldest sister, and she actually got pregnant at 19 in college, second semester, and was still able to complete her 4-year degree, undergraduate, then went on to law school and got her JD, and now is a very successful lawyer, law person, etc. But I look at her because there's so many things that could have gone wrong, and there's so many people that would have complained about that, saying, why did I have a baby? Why did this happen to me? Well, we kind of know why it happened, but why did this happen? And she was somebody that just went forward. A lot of people might have buckled under that pressure and maybe just not done a lot of things, but my sister just powered through. Now again, my family had a big portion of that to help her through that. But and it's funny how the story comes full circle. Is my niece Abigail is now 16, 17, and she was just down here this past week, with her boyfriend and everything. And so now she's happy, she's healthy, she's smart, she's going to college here, next year, 2 years. And it's just my older sister. Out of everybody, I love my sisters, my parents, but my oldest sister. That's kind of always struck a chord with me, because she's somebody who just was able to make do and make things better. And she made that choice to get out of her own way and really do something with her life extremely positively, and something I've always looked up upon. So it's my sister, not Steve Jobs or anything like that. It's my little sister.
That's great.
What's the next one?
Next one is from Janine.
Janine.
And she's asking if you have any thoughts on any natural alternatives for an underactive thyroid.
Oh, any natural alternatives for underactive thyroid. So here's the deal with the thyroid. I would do this entire issue a disservice if I would try and cover it in 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or even a 30-minute podcast. It's such a serious issue. But I did actually get this question earlier, so I contacted our famous Dr. Joshua Levitt. There he is. And asked him about this, and he agreed that to do this in a segment of a couple minutes would do a disservice. But we can talk to you about a couple different things, which is the thyroid. People that have troubles with their thyroid, a lot of people get a prescription called Synthroid. And Synthroid is actually the #1 most prescribed drug in the United States. And it's a very serious issue because so many people actually have to deal with this. But there's a couple things that you should just be looking at. Obviously, talk to your doctor. You know what? Don't listen to me. Don't listen to what you read on the internet. Go talk to your doctor if you feel comfortable with that doctor. If you don't feel comfortable with that doctor, don't talk to him. Go to another one. You need to find somebody you feel comfortable with. But specifically with the thyroid, you gotta look at your diet. One of the things Dr. Josh says is, gluten-free. Experiment with gluten-free. That could actually help out a little bit. I'm also casein-free. You want to make sure that you at least try that. But again, I just keep saying, talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. Also, be looking for nutrients like iodine, zinc, and selenium in different foods. You can get these from seagrasses, and by seagrasses I mean like seaweed, etc. Some of these dark sea greens. There's also some herbs out there, and again, I'm not prescribing these, but just some things out there that have been known to, people with thyroidism known to take, which ashwagandha is another one. But again, if none of these work, make sure you talk to your doctor. And I'm not saying do those, just being completely upfront with that. But just check with your doctor. But these are all different things that you could that have been used previously. What's next?
Nice. Next question is from Jill.
Jill.
And she's asking, what are the benefits and any downsides to drinking cilantro tea?
This is actually a good question because cilantro is either a love it or hate it herb. Do you like it? Ralph, do you like cilantro? I guess he's got his headphones in. Do you like cilantro?
Yes.
You like cilantro? You don't like a lot of things, but you like cilantro. You don't like guacamole though.
I like cilantro.
A lot of people. It's either love it or hate it. So if you're gonna do a cilantro tea, don't just take a whole handful of cilantro, mash it up, and steep it or whatever. Right. Go into it easily. Take a couple sprigs off there, steep it. Make sure that your body handles it okay. I've even done the same thing like when I started drinking ACV, apple cider vinegar, a couple of years ago, which was just to be careful with how much you do. And I've messed up with ACV. I've kind of filled up a whole cup and drank it, and I didn't feel good afterwards. It was kind of like starting with maybe a tablespoon, etc. So with the cilantro, make sure that you actually start slow and then just build up. In terms of the benefits of it, obviously detoxification, can help with metals in the body. But just be careful about how much you're going to start out with. Same thing I say about life too, which is like if you're going to learn how to surf, don't go out in 10-foot Waimea, right? Don't go out in 20 feet pipeline. You just don't do that. You just want to ease into the wave. Steven, do you surf?
I don't.
We got to get you to go surfing. But even funny story about the apple cider vinegar, because I actually drink it every day. I really like it. I was trying to think can I make a fun cocktail out of this? So I did apple cider vinegar, vodka, and ice, and I even put some stevia in it.
That doesn't sound good.
It wasn't good. I actually had to empty it out halfway. Oh. And also, speaking of that, there was also a beer that I tried recently. It's a habanero beer, and great things about habanero, great things about peppers, and I could only get through half a beer. I've never dumped out a beer, but I've had to dump out a habanero beer. It's just too damn spicy. So Jill, if you're gonna try it, a little bit at a time, and see how your body responds. Next one.
I actually have a question.
Steven's got a question.
Would you ever write your own book? I see you have some books on the table.
Yeah.
Would you write your own? And if you did, what would it be about?
So this is a book from Dr. Josh about honey. Absolutely phenomenal. It's called Honey Phenomenon. This one is written by Susan, one of my dear friends who works for us, about inflammation. I've actually thought about it. But more so than me, I think everybody should write a book. I think every single person should write a book. I have not talked to somebody yet who said they would not like to put their own thoughts and feelings down. So whether it's journaling or whether it's writing your thoughts, whether it's blogging, I think everybody should at least venture out and write their own book. You'd be surprised at what comes of that. I've actually started writing one now, so to answer your question, Stephen, yes. And you could do a life story. Life stories are fun, but more so, what I'm trying to do is take a specific segment of my life and kind of wrap around stories around it. But it's something that I need to get off my chest that I want to give to the world. Am I doing it to make $1 million? Absolutely not. Am I doing it, to get my name out there? Absolutely not. I just think it's a really, really good idea for people to put their ideas out to the world. Now again, people are going to throw tomatoes at it. People are going to hate it. But by putting your voice out in the world, it feels good and it feels like you're accomplishing something. So, Stephen, yes, I'm actually in process right now of it. And we'll see what happens.
Cool.
What else? Do we have anything else? No? Social media? Do you want to find us on social media? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, Steven's writing me notes behind there. It's cool. You can find out more. Let me see if there's anything on Facebook. Did anybody say anything? All right. So what we can do is, if you want to learn more about what we're doing, Facebook, you guys are already here, facebook.com/thealternativedaily. If you want some coffee, thealternativedaily.com/coffee. And if you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Jake Surfs as well. And then YouTube. So if you want to see behind the scenes of everything that we're doing here at the Alternative Daily, in our new headquarters, as we moved in, as we set up our new Berkey water filter, setting up our coffee, follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/thealternativedaily. We're doing some behind the scenes vlogging that Steven is taking up. And it's really done well. It's a fun thing to do. You can see me jump in the water every morning. And then lastly, as we say that, Steven is actually live streaming sunrises almost every morning on Facebook. So make sure that if you're up in the morning, you can actually see it throughout the day. But if you're up in the morning and you don't want to get out of your warm, cozy bed, you can turn on Facebook, have a cup of coffee with Steven, and sometimes I pop in and you can see Steven doing the sunrise in the morning. Awesome. You know, guys, thank you so much. This is episode 30. This is a quick one. As I said, next week we're going to get in there with Carmen Kolitz, and it's going to be fabulous. And we'll see you guys later. Should I play us out?
Play it out.
Play it out.